right, well, it's all in the books. The Bucks are gone, and the 76ers are with them on the same journey. Um, I was like, there really no hope for the Milwaukee Bucks to me, really, to be honest. Like, yes, they won the last game without Dame, and, well, to be honest, they ain't even been anywhere close. But I think that's sort of how I would perceive this other game, where I'm like, yeah, they sort of gave it all they could with that, but it was also pretty much a grind. And we seen like the other game before that when they didn't have anybody as well either, and they also been blown out several times too. But I'm like, if the capability of them being blown out with Dame on the court, I don't understand, and that it wouldn't be the same thing either. And that's sort of what happened today. Even though Dame came in and played, it was just really rough. It was just really just rough, especially when you get outscored by their bench having really more, just about really many points as a few of your starters. And the thing is that Milwaukee is already a team that isn't a scoring threat juggernaut, none of that stuff. So they have to do a grind out game. And I was like, Dame was able to gave you some good contributions and stuff like that, but Middleton would just really wasn't there. And that's pretty much it when you sort of have that situation when everybody else is hitting, where Siakam, I was like Obi and TJ McConnell was like going off. I was like, yeah, they got too much firepower on that Indiana team that if you can't keep up or you can't get on them early, there's nothing you could do. And weirdly enough, I was like, I think it sort of has a little bit of similarity in the 76ers game. Not in the same. I was like, this was always going to be a dogfight. I was like, they were pretty much just exchanging like leads and stuff at the same time, and I was like, this game came down to the same way that all the other games came down to, especially like the Knicks being up, then the comeback, and then just like weird ass stuff always happening to where just like it's like, oh my god, are we gonna get another one? And we almost really did. I was like, I think it's just unfortunate that it's like you did get like 35 from Bede, and then after that I was like Tyrese Maxey. I was like, hey, look, after the performance he's had last game, I was like, you can't. I was like, he didn't bring it in the same way, but you also can't knock him. I was like, Brunson been pretty much giving it ever since they figured out after the last two games. He figured out how to get his mojo going, and everybody else came to play with him. We did finally get a Buddy Hield sighting, a little too late for that. But you didn't get nothing out of Kyle Lowry. But I think more importantly is really you didn't get nothing out of Tobias Harris, which is really the disappointing factor. I was like, Oubre gets you 17, Batum gives you 16. I was like, if you get what you normally get out of Tobias for his regular seasons, you be in his game. But I was like, once again, just like how he does in a lot of these playoff games, he doesn't give you anything that's really worth. Like at least with Lowry, like like while he had a donut this game, normally I was like he'll at least hit some timely threes, or he'll come up with like some defensive plays, like getting a chart or something like that. I was like, Tobias really just wasn't. It was just body, but especially in the way where like you count on him to be your third guy. Like the fact that we have to talk about them having a spot available where they can get, like, I'm like, that's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be the third or hell fourth player. Like, think about it. I was like, yes, in a perfect world, Tobias Harris could be Aaron Gordon. I was like, not perfectly, but in the fourth role type of situation. But he doesn't give you the. He doesn't really. I was like, he does. They put Oubre really to do the defense more so than Tobias. So it's not like Tobias is being. Either way, look, they lost the game. I was like, they gave it a good shot. I was like, a good effort. They just couldn't get nothing to. They really couldn't get nothing really down towards the end of rebounds. I think that's really sort of where it was like, and the Knicks sort of been doing that to him really the whole game, where it's just like since Embiid has sort of been the way he is, they don't really have the personnel to rebound in the same way, which is crazy because I'm like their lineup except for Maxi is pretty much bigger than the Knicks, and they can. And I was like, but the Knicks just got a different level to them with OG, Dante, and uh, Josh on getting the ball and rebounding and stuff like that in a way that the 76ers personnel doesn't. I was like, and that goes to the whole thing with Thibodeau and having them all do the hustle thing and stuff like that. But I was like, they came up with timely shots. I was like, Josh Hart's three at the end. I was like, to me, that's the right play. Like, out of all of them, you leave him open to shoot the three. And guess what? He hit the three. And to me, that really sort of sealed the game at that point. Just because I was like, at that point, it's tied with like, the shot clock ready to go. So at that point it's really hard. Like, like if he would have missed it, it's tied, and you play for that or whatever, or he hits but I was like a three when everybody else saw it, where it's just like your team, that's not their team strong suit and stuff like that. But also after Maxey hit that three last game, they were not having that. They're just over here being like, we'll play this foul game. We're not doing that at all. And yeah, and the Sixers went out. I was like, I thought at the end where Buddy Hield got the ball, he sort of threw it up, which I guess like they said like I guess like the idea is that they would foul him, even though he had 3 seconds. I thought he had a chance to turn around and get a good shot, instead of just throwing it up. But I also thought too that I was like, if he would have just, I was like, I mean, obviously they didn't have a chance to really talk over the play, but I thought in my head that I'm like, he caught the ball, and if he would have turned the other way, he could have dumped it off the Maxi. And I was like, yes, I'm doing the hindsight Monday morning quarterback thing. So, hey, look, I'm sitting down in the seat saying what they should do when in real life might not have been the same thing. I was like, I mean, if they would have had a chance to write the play down, that'd be different than what actually being seen. But I think the whole thing of you got to give you guys like, look, the Knicks were able to execute down toward the end of the game what they failed to do last game. I thought they played really good defense, especially towards the end. I was like, they really hounded a lot. I was like the 76ers on really that play, and then also Embiid got fouled out at that point, which I don't think that he would have really been able to really help towards the end anyway. I was like, I mean, I guess a bigger guy being able to shoot, but I don't think it would have helped towards the end really, to be honest, at all either. So I was like, I think at that point they were pretty much, I was like SOL at that instance. Yeah, but I would like give the credit to the Knicks for really tightening everything up towards the end of that game, and yeah, I was like, give props also to Embiid and Maxey, and I was like, I'll say Embiid, Maxey, and I'll say Oubre. And I'll say also Batum, because I was like, those two was out there playing defense, hitting shots. I was like, so, and I was like, and even Lowry, just being 39, able to do it. I was like, I mean, we all seen him with the Heat. We didn't know how much, but I was like, he always give you that little jolt every now and then. I was like, I thought campaign, I was like, probably should have got a little bit more minutes here and there, just because I'm like, to be honest, I'm surprised the Sixers didn't play more. Like, they played small, but I'm surprised they didn't play a little bit smaller, with just Embiid at the 5 and, like, Maxi Payne and, like, like, something like that with, like, Uber. Because I'm like, the Knicks, all their dudes are only, like, 6'3", 6'5" as well, too. I was like, and with OG at the 4. So it's not like they were out here, like they couldn't match up with him too. I was just trying to think of like how they could get most of the firepower on the team at the same time. But yeah, I was like, I give props to Embiid for the whole thing. I know he gonna get crushed because that's what they like to do in comparison. When I'm like, his situation ain't different than some other big 7-footer. But hey, that's for another time. Anyway, talk to you later about the matchups. See you soon. All right, peace.